Let's take a look at the app Subtext. I'm going to go ahead and launch that and give you a quick tour about what Subtext does and how I can use it to read informational texts that I've either found online or have access to via PDFs and share that with students. You'll see at the very top here I've got in my library a series of books that I have access to that I've added to this library. I can add PDFs or I can add informational text out from the web. You'll notice on the right-hand side, too, I have a series of groups that I belong to or that I've created and shared with others. Because not only can I read subtext articles or books by myself in this app, I can also collaborate and share with others. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on the upper left-hand corner there where it says tap to add books and articles so you can see how I can do that. Subtext is going to allow me to go out and search for books that I might want to purchase, websites that I can grab articles from and then download, and then I can also search my public library. So for this, I'm going to focus on the middle one, the search for web articles. So go ahead and type something in here. I have another news site that I absolutely love called Newsella. I'm going to see if I can find an article from Newsella by searching here. But I could also search with any kind of a keyword search for any topic of interest to me. So you notice it goes out and it's doing a Google search, and it's going to try to find the website of interest to me. I'm going to launch Newsella. What Newsella does is it allows me to find current events articles that have been taken from lots of different sources, but then adapted by the Newsella folks so that they're readable in terms of the readability scores for students. So if we're interested in, took a look at this one this morning, the science one, passenger pigeons are extinct, but their scientists are hoping to bring them back. So I tap on that. You notice I've got the nice clean article here with the text for reading. But I also, over on the right-hand side, have this blue bar, and this blue bar is showing me the Lexile levels for this reading. And right now this is at an 1100 level, and I can see that there's a word count of 842 there. And I notice that the text itself, the multisyllabic words, and the syntax of the sentences are rated sort of at that 1100 level. If I'd like to grab that at a lower Lexile score, I go ahead and tap on the 740 to see the changes. You'll notice here there's been a shift. There are 491 words now, and again the sentence patterns and the vocabulary level are different and more accessible to students who can read on that level. In the upper right-hand corner, if this is the article that I'd like to put in my subtext, I'm going to hit that orange bar that says Save to Subtext. It's going to go ahead and do that for me, and I'm going to say, yep, in fact, I would like to add that to my library. I'm also then given a prompt that I can add this article to a certain group, but I'm not ready to add it to a group yet. And I'm going to close out of here. And I can see that I have this new access to this article. And when I tap on that, I get more information about it. But when I hit the download button that's right underneath that, it's going to add that to my library, and now I have some new options. I can go ahead and share that with a group, or I can go ahead and read it myself if I'd like to. You'll see that there's an assign button and a discuss button as well. But let me go back to the share first so that makes sense. If I have a certain group or a class that I'd like to go ahead and share that to, I can tap on that, and that will automatically share that into that library. And again, you see those groups over to the right-hand corner. I'm going to hit the next button, which is read, and you're going to see that it's opening the article for me. It looks almost like an iBook, or if you've read on a Kindle or a Nook or an iPad, you'll see it looks very similar to that. And I can take that article and just go ahead and swipe through that as if it's a book now. In and of itself, that's kind of nice that it's all cleared up for me, and it's text only. But because I'm now in subtext, I have the opportunity to be able to mark up and add content to this. So if I'm interested in passions or pigeons, I'm going to put my finger and swipe right over that, and then when I let go, you'll see what ends up happening. I can highlight with different colors, but then I also have these options to go ahead and comment on that. I can ask a question. I can search out in Google, or I can make a copy of that. If you've noticed as well at the bottom of the page, what's popped up just because I've highlighted it is a dictionary for me. And you notice that in that dictionary, not only does it give the definition, but it looks like I've got a way to audio repeat that word out loud for me. I can search Google or Wikipedia right from that box if I need more information about that. Back up to the box that has popped up when I highlighted passenger pigeon, I'll go ahead and add a quick comment to that. And I'm just going to type in, I think they are extinct. I can go ahead and publish that right away. In the lower right hand corner there's that little publish button that you see. But over to the left hand side you notice that I can add a link, or I can go out and find something from my camera roll to be able to elaborate upon this. So adding a link to elaborate upon this information, or to add an image to help provide some context for whatever the concept is that you've highlighted, is really powerful here. So not only can I, again, add a comment, but I can attach a link. It just brings me right out to Google, and I could search for passenger pigeons, find some information, and paste that link right in there. I'm not going to take the time to do that, but I can also go out with the tapping on the camera and find an image and have that in my camera roll to put in there as well. So I don't want to discard that, I actually want to publish it. So you'll notice that now passenger pigeon is highlighted, and it's got a little icon of me as the adder of that comment. But if I've shared this with a group or with a class, I can ask students or folks with whom I'm socially reading to mark up this text and share comments and provide feedback. Let me go ahead and do that one more time so you can see. I'm here at the 3 billion mark, just swiping my finger across like that. I'm going to lift up, and I have those options again. I can highlight with whatever color I'd like, but I can also do, in addition to that commenting, I can hit the Ask button. And now you'll notice that instead of just writing in a comment, I have different ways to be able to almost do like a little poll or a quiz, if you will. So I can ask a question where I expect free response. I can ask a question where I'm expecting multiple choice answers for them to respond to, or I can also have a poll. And you'll notice though each one of those things change. The other thing with this is, just like with those comments, if you notice at the bottom of that box, I can add a link or an image to again elaborate upon this. And I can have this, this poll, this quiz, land right smack in the center of the text like that, or I can choose to have it at the end of the chapter. I hit publish, and again it's going to embed that way. But let's just discard that one. So I'm going back now to my library so you can see, and I'm just going to reiterate briefly what I was able to do. I'm back up in my library here, and you notice if I have a novel, I can download the first couple chapters free of a novel and do the same thing. I can assign that novel to a group. I can click on the reading and it'll open up the book like that, and we can go ahead and read a full novel that way. Again, we can highlight and add anything into this, and then anybody who is in the group doing the reading that I've shared it with can mark up in a very similar way like that. Or I can come on over and tap to add articles and books. I was searching the web for articles, right? So when I tapped on the searching of the web, I could do a Google search like that as well. And I can search for books in the same way. Here's the last piece about being able to add something. I'm going to go to my mail. I'm going to find a PDF that I've shared with myself via my email. When I hold my finger down on that PDF, I have an option to open that in a number of different apps. What I'd like to do is open that in Subtext here. So since I've got Subtext on my iPad, I can click on that and open that. And now that PDF itself is available in my library, and I can hit that and read that and mark up the PDF. So you see that it does look a little bit different. I'm going to swipe like this instead of the way that it looked as a book. But I can squeeze and open that in that sense, and I can mark up the PDF. This one is around personalized learning in the very same way that I can do with any of those other articles that I have in my library. So Subtext is similar in a way to iBooks and others that it can allow me to annotate, but what Subtext allows me to do is then share those opportunities to annotate and elaborate with groups of folks who are either interested in the same reading materials or happen to be in my class. Really powerful app.